And that brings us on to a busy Nerd News Network week.
Yeah, it's been stacked.
Bro, it's been outrageous.
It was like a little bit of a sprinkling
Outrageous.
and like all hearing different little things. And then
Yeah.
suddenly, was it yesterday? We just got like,
Yeah, there was a lot.
which we knew was coming somewhat because
Yeah.
we knew that James Gunn and that were going to.
Yeah, we knew it was. Well, I'll be honest. I was expecting the news to break as we finished recording tonight
Ah, yeah, that's true.
because
That would have been
that would be very much us.
yeah, that would be on brand.
So to start off with, Avatar's coming out this week. Won't
Yes,
be
it is
discussing
Avatar 2.
I don't respect it.
Well, we've just discussed it and we've discussed it before. I think we've talked about it briefly before in the past how much you hate Avatar. I will be seeing it.
I'd like to be clear here. While I will steer into the Connor hates Avatar, I don't hate Avatar.
Okay,
I
you hate
think Avatar.
you hate what Avatar's become.
Yeah, I hate the circle jerking around it.
Yes.
The film itself, it's a film.
I am very excited for it. More so from, and I think I've said this in the past when we have touched on it, is like I come at Avatar from a visual creative side and how impressive it is for like visual effects and advancements in that like field. My Twitter, which is obviously very different to yours, has been up in arms, or I've seen quite a few discussions about how some of these VFX shots are done, because it doesn't seem, basically some of the shots we've seen in the trailers look impossible to do with VFX. Like the level of like what we're seeing is like CGI hasn't done that before, like replicated those things.
Though. I'm not being funny though, Hori. They've spent $2 billion on this. They fucking want to do something we haven't seen before.
This is the thing. So it's things, because obviously they're doing everything in water. Water simulations are very hard to sell realistically. Like, don't get me wrong, they're hell of a lot better now. But like, there's one shot where he's on like the back of one of these sea creatures and there's like a harness, and everyone's focused on that because like there's weaving or whatever, and you can see the water like how it would be on a weaved fabric. It like gets trapped in the gaps and stuff. Everyone's like, that can't be, like, that's just, no way is this CGI. But it is.
Because almost all of the drops would need to be simulated individually. And
like the
then
surface
trapped.
tension and all that. There's so many layers to it that would have to be like simulated. And everyone's like, this looks too fucking real that we can't comprehend. But
for the amount of money they spent, unless someone's worked on the film to see how it's got there, should that not be the reaction? If you're going to spend that amount of money,
it should. Now, here's the thing: there's people like I've seen these discussions. No, there's discussions, and it's like it seems like they have done a very good job of like CG on top of. So it seems, because there's someone who's worked on the VFX had commented on another shot where like they're running in the sand, and they're like, all that sand and what you see there, like the actual set and landscape, 100% real footage. Someone was there running on it, but we've replaced the foot with a blue CGI avatar foot. So it seems they're like really well doing like CG people replacements.
Okay. But I mean, to be fair, if that technology just needed to be used on a bigger scale to make it more accessible and bring the price down, that could be a good thing for films in general.
Mm-hmm. It's gonna I think this film, if you're going in for hoping for like their best story and like this really captivating like cinematic story, go into that film and pay attention to the visual effects.
More of a tech demo. Let's
no, 100% is. It is always been a tech demo, because there's things that he did in the first one have progressed cinema.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, I respect that part of it. My problem is the people who act like it's the greatest film ever, when in reality it's just a very fucking expensive tech demo.
Yeah, no, I agree in the sense of...
And that's actually my only real issue with it. Like, the first one, I enjoyed it. It's just and don't get me wrong, I'm not saying Marvel deserves the top spot of like the highest grossing film of all time, just so we're clear here. But a glorified tech demo should not be the highest grossing film of all time.
Yeah, I do agree that the amount they've
that's
spent,
where a lot of my issue comes from.
The amount they've spent and how much they have to make back to make a profit is fucking ridiculous.
I think the optimistic prediction is they need to make 1.6 billion to
break even,
and that's like the optimistic projection. I think the one that's being accepted as more realistic is 1.9 to 2 billion is needed to break even. And here's my thing that I really makes me think this film is surrounded with a lot of bullshit marketing. Apparently, it's expected to make 500 million its opening weekend. Other than on Twitter, which we need to remember is a very small part of the internet, I've not even heard anyone fucking mention that this film's coming out this weekend. How the fuck are they expected to do 500 million?
I think they're getting that number. I do think that's skewed a bit to them.
Oh, it's got to be, hasn't it?
Well,
if it does 500 million this weekend,
I think they're
baffled.
They're taking themselves back to the hype after the first one of how people received the first one. People loved it. It was like this new thing. It was incredible visually. Had they released this film a year or two after that one, sure, maybe it could have done like these numbers, but I do feel that hype.
Avatar came out 2008?
Oh, fucking ages ago. Like, this is the thing. It's like, there's a whole fucking generation that has no clue what Avatar is.
Yeah, that was going to be my question. I'm Googling Avatar and I can't even get it. It's just default into Way of Water.
Avatar.
Like, when you can't even easily Google the first film.
2009.
2009. So this film is 13 years old.
Yes.
There is a child in puberty that was born after this film.
Yeah. Like, there's kids that have no clue about the first one. It's just like, no wonder the marketing's going mental trying to like build up hype for it, because they're essentially trying to build up hype for a franchise some people have never heard of or watched.
I am willing to bet this film only just grosses, and this is going to sound ridiculous, but it's comparative to what they've spent. I think it only grosses about 1.2. And that is only if the reviews from this opening weekend.
Well, yeah, this is the thing. I think, like, we're going in with the expectation that this is a glorified tech demo and the story's going to be subpar and it's mainly just there for the visuals. You never know. We could be wrong, and maybe he's come up with some really captivating story. If that's the case, and it has these raving reviews and everyone starts talking about how fucking good it was and like the story was good enough to get people talking in that way, maybe it breaks even. Maybe it does. I could see a world where it does if it gets the reviews and the reception that it needs.
Is that you assuming it breaks even if it only needs 1.6 to break even?
Yeah.
I don't see a world where it breaks even if it does need 2 billion to break even.
If it needs 2 billion...
I'm not being funny. The hype around Endgame.
Yeah.
If Endgame barely even beat the first Avatar with how much hype was around Endgame, I don't see how this film, that once again, in real life, I've not heard anyone even mention, I don't see how they think they're making 2 billion. Unless you get, like, the company sinking more money in to buy out entire cinemas to skew the numbers in their favour to make it look like a success.
Maybe it makes 2 billion once it's on digital and physical release. Like, maybe it can make that final chunk of people buying it. I don't know. But you've also got to remember
what the film's gross at. I don't think that's ever included DVD sales.
I don't know.
That's only ever included cinema tickets.
Probably. But also you have to remember, like, the UK especially is in a cost of living crisis. And this is Christmas, where people already put themselves in shit with money for Christmas because people aren't good with their money anyway at Christmas. Like, they'll overspend for the sake of Christmas and then worry about it in January. They ain't gonna add a cinema trip to that.
Yeah.
For a film that is, it's like, could really look, it might look stunning, but
I'll keep it $1.50 with you when the film comes out on DVD. And we essentially collect DVDs in my house. I will probably watch it. But I promise you, it will take a fucking miracle for me to go anything other than it looked really nice. They spent far too much money on it. And you know what? I know I sound like such an arsehole. I would like to be proved wrong.
Oh, so, I mean, I would very much like to be able to walk out there and go, holy shit, that was a really good story as well. Yeah. I know I'm going to walk out and go, that was fucking stunning visually.
I think the only time you can actually say the story was worth it, though, is if you walk out thinking about the story rather than how good it looked.
Well, yeah.
Because if something looks really good with a good story, the cinematography is one of the things you bring up after you've been discussing it for 5 minutes. Mm-hmm. You're like, oh, the acting was great. I love the story. That scene made me feel this and that. And you know what? It was beautiful to look at as well. That's how you discuss like really good films. Whereas every conversation I've ever had about the first Avatar is, it's such a beautiful film. The story was a bit lackluster, but the film was amazing.
Yeah, I think.
And unless the people who like talk to me about the film start off by talking about the story, it's in my head straight away. I'm going, okay, so it's just like the first one. Looked beautiful, but there's no depth.
I wonder if they're like they make their money back through selling the technique, like the tech stuff they built for it.
I think not just including like ticket sales, which is what's normally produced, they can break even on the film.
Yeah, but I think it's ticket sales determines if they do 5 or 3. Because that's something else he said, is that if this
he said he has scripts up until 8, didn't he?
Possibly. I know his plan was always 5, and he's already got the third one's partly made, and obviously it's like already partly made. So he's written it in a way like he can tweak it so that the story wraps up in the third if this one doesn't perform. So that's the thing. If this does perform by a miracle, best believe we're in for 5 of these.
And I just that. And do you know what my another big concern I have for that is, when this entire franchise rests on being something no one's ever seen before, how, when the next 3 after this one are due to come out by 2026, are they going to improve enough for it to be worth it? Or is it going to get to the 4th one and everyone's going to go, well, 3 looks the exact same as 2. The story for them was mediocre. Why am I spending 15 quid to watch the same shit again?
Well, it's going to be the next one or something they'll do. I was trying to think like what elements can they tie these into each time. And I'm like, maybe they do a full-on like air. But I suppose that was the first. Well, the first one was kind of. They could do
more
some
earth than air, I guess.
Yeah, so maybe the third one is like.
It was a bit too much of both, and not enough of either.
Yes, I get what you mean. Maybe they do like some crazy third one. There's like another element, and it's like needs new techniques again for that. And then maybe by the 4th one, it's like, well, these are just accumulation of them all now.
What new have you got? If they wanted to do enough on these, like essentially every 15 years as glorified tech demos, and they've just kind of marketed it that way of like, we have gone out there just to push cinema to the very furthest we can with an okay story, I think I'd actually respect it a lot more. The fact is they're trying to sell me on a cinema masterpiece that is actually just a very,
especially because the next ones are going to come out closer together.
Yeah.
But then also the issue is if we had to wait 13 years for each one, I don't know if we'd see the end of the collection.
I think the bigger concern would be whether James Cameron.
Well, yeah, that's exactly.
But do you get more of my point there?
Oh yeah,
like,
I do.
If they've made it like a running series that's done every 10, 15 years just to push the technology in cinemas further along.
It's. Yeah, I think James Cameron's a bit too. He has these grand ideas of how to push cinema, but he's a bit too ambitious on the public receiving.
Yeah.
It's like, just because you have a great idea of something that you want to see doesn't necessarily mean everyone else is going to enjoy it.
Exactly.
So, But I'm all for it. I'll probably will go see it at some point.
Something that we weren't discussing.
No, I was just thinking that. I was like,
you might just see. This is the problem with doing a podcast and my inability to move on from a topic.
Especially when I was willing to talk about the topic.
Yeah, you're a bastard. Star Wars Survivor.
Yes. We got it at the Game Awards.
Yeah, when was the release date of that again? I forgot to write that down. It wasn't the leaked one, which was like March 15th.
It's like a couple days after.
Oh, maybe it was leaked as the 13th, and it's actually
I think it's the 15th. I think it's a couple days after what it.
But it's not that far away,
no,
which is very fun and exciting. There's rumors, although they've still not been confirmed or debunked, about potential Obi-Wan Kenobi gameplay, or maybe it's just a skin so you can play the main game as Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Or he just shows up like he's a character or something. Yeah, we don't know.
But like Obi-Wan Kenobi has been linked with this project. We just don't know in what capacity that may take place.
Yeah, and going off the trailer, it seems like we've jumped forward a bit in time.
Yeah, it's like a 5-year time jump.
Possibly. Something like that. So
he looks pretty beat the fuck up.
Cal's looking beat up. Hit I forget the Jedi, the woman, the coloured woman that was helped him.
Yeah, I forget her name as well.
She looks like she's way more set up somewhere.
Yeah.
And like, so they've obviously got this like full-on operation going on.
Yeah, I like the idea of the story being slightly less linear, just slightly.
Yeah.
With a little bit more freedom to explore.
Well, they've said it's going to be more open world, haven't they?
Yeah.
So
well, I mean, it's not often in the Star Wars universe. I don't think actually ever in the Star Wars universe you've been able to explore the Empire.
Yeah, I'm hoping this means that like it's going to be a case of you can choose like which planets and stuff you go to for what mission, and it's going to be a case of like go find person of interest or go find item of interest, bring it back, and you can basically choose what order you do stuff in, and it like unlock the next sections of the main story and stuff depending once you've got so much done. The Game Awards like had this full-on tank on stage, like whatever the person that's in the trailer, there's someone in a tank that is missing an arm, and I don't know who that is. And it obviously is someone of importance for this game.
Yeah.
So whether it's a Sith or Jedi, or it could be a brand new character, I'm interested. But I mean, once again after this trailer, I'm just like, why we need Cal in live action. Just get us Cal in live action. Come on now.
Yeah. When Cal Kestis is literally
the actor.
Yeah, I forget his name. Okay. Who's also a phenomenal actor. Just move him into live action.
Yeah. Like it's so simple. I honestly, because obviously we're gonna get another Obi-Wan series, aren't we? Season. I think
it's officially confirmed, but it's expected.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe he does have a cameo in the game, and then we get a cameo in the show. And the actor has been very clear about the fact he wants an opportunity to do something live action.
I think it just makes sense. Like, it'd just be really cool.
It does.
Because then it pulls that game. Like, obviously it's already canon, but like it pulls it even more into.
Yeah. It'd be fucking sick. Sick.
Especially because you got Dave Filoni. Like, the amount of things he's pulled from the animated series into live action and tied in because he wants to. Like, it just, come on. The man's probably got ideas, so.
You know what it is? We just need to get Dave Filoni, like, forced to play the game. And then once he plays the game, he'll be like, "Oh, I'm using this guy. He is mine now."
Yeah, he'll play this game and he'll suddenly get the idea of exactly how to bring him in.
I'm surprised that Dave Filoni didn't already fall in love with the first game when he realised you had to live through Order 66 again.
He probably has like played it and loved it. But you've also got to remember there's apparently like for things he wants to do, there's stuff in this Ahsoka series coming out that he's visualized the scene 5 years ago. He's been waiting 5 years to make it happen. So like he's probably played the game and he's got this idea. He just knows it's 5 years down the line when he's actually going to be able to bring Cal in.
Dave Filoni forever playing the long game.
Yeah, literally. But yeah,
he's going to have me 50 years old, you 105 years old, having to rewatch Order 66 again and again.
You're really just going to like make me out to be twice your age. Oh, I'm fuming off that. It's unnecessary. Just unnecessary. But yeah. We're going to forever be reliving Order 66.
Oh, forever. Forever living Order 66.
It'll just be through flashbacks.
And you know what? We're going to make our kids probably do the same.
Yeah.
Dad, it's another Order 66 episode. I don't want to watch it. It's too sad. You will sit there and you will watch it.
You've got to also show them in the right order, so the build up to Orders. Like you've got to let them get attached to this universe, and then watch the younglings die.
More game news.
Yes,
we got another trailer for the Suicide Squad. Let's Kill the Justice League.
We did indeed.
In which we got to see a Batman.
We did.
Which has been confirmed to be voiced by Kevin Conroy, which will, after his very sad passing, make this his last ever performance as Batman.
Yes, it will.
The trailer was really cool. It had Batman being Batman, but obviously he's a bit evil because he's been taken over. And then he comes out of the shadows. It cuts to black, and we get the iconic Kevin Conroy voice line of "I am vengeance, I am the night, I am Batman," which every time I hear it, shivers. Absolute shivers. It is the most Batman has ever Batman.
What a sentence.
And I love it so much. I don't think he did that line for the game. By the way the audio sounded, it sounded like the original audio from when he said that from one of the shows that they used for that. So I don't necessarily think he says it in the game, but I think they chose his most iconic line to kind of
do
say,
like
here we go.
Yeah.
It's set in the Rocksteady universe, just like Arkham Knights, which has just come out, in which Batman is dead. So a lot of people are kind of like, I don't think originally they were going to tell us Batman's in this game. And it was going to be a surprise during the game. But because of Kevin's passing, they wanted like a trailer to like say,
commemorate,
goodbye, we love you. Yeah. So that's kind of why they've teased that early.
I can see that being the reason.
I'm very excited for Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League. I think it's going to be a great game. I can't wait to get my hands on it.
Yeah, hopefully it's better than Arkham Knights.
I had that game pre-ordered until about 3 days before it came out. Then I saw some of the early access reviews, and it had moved even further away from what I was hoping it would be towards what I really didn't want it to be. And I was like, I'm going to go ahead and cancel this pre-order and then see what the full release actually looks like. And then it was shit, and I've not even considered buying it. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Remember, when pre-ordering, that you can cancel your pre-order, and you absolutely should if the game takes a turn towards something that you don't want. Game companies do not deserve our money.
They have to all of you who pre-ordered Call of Duty.
Hey, I pre-ordered Call of Duty.
Still looking at you.
Only after I only kept my pre-order after I played the beta though. I pre-ordered it to get early access to the beta with the full intention of cancelling it if the beta wasn't what I was expecting to see, like I did with Vanguard.
Yeah.
That is another good way to use pre-ordering.
Yes.
But yeah, that was all really about Suicide Squad. There is, however, before we get into the really juicy DC news that all kind of links together,
I'm sure you're all waiting for.
Yeah, there's been lots of trailers come out for films coming out in June in the last couple of weeks. We've had the Transformers trailer, the Spider-Verse trailer. There was another one that I'm forgetting. And then also in that month, The Flash is due to come out. So now fans are kind of going, this film's been delayed like 3 times. It's coming out in the same month as these 3 other films that all now have released a trailer. Where is your trailer? And there is no trailer.
Honestly, I think we get a trailer very last minute because they're just fucking chuck out a trailer, film comes out, get it done and out the way.
I'm genuinely curious to know if they didn't know if the film was still going to be released, and they've only just got like the confirmation that the film is definitely coming out.
I think
Because they have moved up the release date.
I do think they're waiting as long as they can for all the like new shit to really die off before they like remind us about the film with a trailer, because they know it's just gonna like stir up the pot again. So they're just kind of like waiting as long as they can without people bashing on the film, because they know put a trailer out, everyone's gonna be like, "Why is he still in the film? Ezra Miller's film shouldn't be happening." And they obviously don't want to have to deal with that. But I also think there's part and parcel with obviously all the DC news and James Gunn. They were probably waiting to find out what his slate and plan was for DC.
Yeah.
And kind of figure out a release schedule for the trailer after that.
Yeah, 100%.
But yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if we get like the trailer like a couple months before, if that. And they just like trailer, film, boom, done, out of the way, forget.
The film is definitely coming because they've moved the release date forward like 2 weeks or a week. So like the date has moved again, but closer to us this time. You don't do that if you're worried the film's about to get canned.
No.
So I can only assume they do have confirmation out the film's coming. So now it is just a waiting game for the trailer. I don't know what their game plan is. Do they just wait for the trailers of competing films to die down in hype a little bit because they knew they can't beat the Spider-Verse trailer hype, and just wait for a little vacuum in the trailer sphere and then release it?
Probably some of that. I do also think that, like we've said, this film's probably more so going to be just them recuperating cost.
Yeah, I think they just know they've sunk all their money into it, so let's see if we can get anything back.
They'll save money by putting a trailer out sooner, because then they don't have to push trailers out, more than one trailer out.
You mean later by putting it
close to later. The film?
Yeah. No, there is also that.
Like
if
marketing
you wait
costs.
until 2 months before the film, only release one trailer instead of editing another trailer to release 2 months before the film as a second trailer. Yeah.
Less marketing costs and stuff, which they'll be trying to be careful.
There may well be an element of that.
So yeah, who knows when we're going to get this trailer? Who knows?
Now into the thick boy DC stuff that all kind of links together.
Yeah, the breaking DC news.
Yes. So last Thursday, it got confirmed after like the Wonder Woman and everything got confirmed to be cancelled. A Michael Keaton Batman film was confirmed to have been cancelled. And it has now been leaked / confirmed / this is what was believed to be the case, that Michael Keaton Batman film was actually going to be a Batman Beyond film with Michael Keaton playing an older Bruce Wayne.
Yes.
I am furious. All I've ever wanted is a live action Batman Beyond. I feel robbed. I feel hurt. I feel sad.
Yeah, but I mean, you never know. James Gunn might do something his way.
Yeah.
For Batman Beyond.
I just think Michael Keaton's probably the perfect age right now for a little bit of the action scenes to not feel ridiculous, but also being old enough that he could be an old Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
I think a little bit too much older, you lose a little bit of the believability of him doing any action whatsoever.
Yeah.
At which point you're then having to look for someone else. And I don't know why. I want whoever plays old Bruce Wayne to have played Bruce Wayne in a legitimate Batman film. So unless they want to wait 15 years for Ben Affleck, which I don't want.
Or Christian Bale.
Not that I don't want Ben Affleck, that I don't want to have to wait 15 years, just so we're clear. I think Ben Affleck could be a very good grumpy old Bruce Wayne.
Yeah. Yeah, it's unfortunate. There's probably many other films that we would have. Like, I bet there's loads that we haven't heard about that we would have we've been like, oh, actually, that would have been a great one.
Don't get me wrong, I do kind of get why you'd save the money, because the Batman Beyond film is going to it needs to be done right, and actually the amount of people who would care if it doesn't get made is a lot smaller.
Yeah. And also
Like,
they
don't get me
kind of
wrong.
look at the bigger picture, right?
Yeah,
Make sure it's got to make sense and fit into this new DCEU.
exactly.
So
Exactly. And and if they're doing a full DCEU, 20 years, they might just then move to that period of time where you have a Batman Beyond instead of a
yeah,
Batman film. Maybe that's the way they're going with it.
possibly.
The other rumor, which has been denied by James Gunn, but I mean, James Gunn denies shit all the time for fun. Doesn't necessarily mean it isn't true, but do take it with a pinch of salt.
Mm-hmm.
Is that apparently Matt Reeves is wanted, and his Batman films are wanted to be part of the main DC universe.
Well, we've
There is
talked about
definitely,
this.
there's definitely weight to it in the sense it's the only Batman that actually fucking exists right now. The film was a smashing success. Everyone wants more. Matt Reeves has been confirmed to be staying on to do his next Batman film. Blah 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 blah.
Mm-hmm. And
It
he's
would
got
make
like first
sense.
dibs on the Bat universe stuff or something.
Yeah, I mean that was the case under old leadership. We don't know if James Gunn's honouring that. I'm just going to assume he is until we
Yeah.
hear otherwise.
What
But
we've
so
talked
I
about
mean,
this,
go on.
but like that film, don't get me wrong, the film's great. We've both talked about how much we love that film. It's a very unique style in
Yes.
terms of like trying to do a full DCU. To tie that in and it not feel like out of place would be
What I
really
will say
difficult.
is the style very much fits the world from a Bruce Wayne's psychological perspective.
Yeah.
So if they do every film with the mindset of let's film this as the main character perceives it, so Superman would be very bright and colourful and vibrant,
Yeah.
it can work. The films will look very different, but tonally it will make sense because
Yeah.
everything will match the character internally. But I do get your concern of you don't look at that world that Batman was in and imagine people flying around in the sky. You don't.
No. And it's also like, it's great do it. Like, yes, you could do everyone's film, like Superman's film could be from his perspective. The problem then arises when they do like a Justice League film. And it's like,
Yes. How do you style that?
yeah, how do you style it? And then it's like, is this Batman going to look so out of place, not in his style? Like, he looks great in his style, but does that Batman work not in that style?
Yeah.
And
If you
it's
make
like,
the Justice League film center around like a brainiac, therefore Superman would be a big part of that. So you go for his style. Is Batman going to look fucking ridiculous? Yeah, 100%. It's a very valid concern.
so
And that is why I can also very much believe that James Gunn is happy to let the Matt Reeves Batman continue,
yeah,
but he's gonna get his own Batman.
yeah, and I think the more realistic thing, which I think I've also mentioned or we have on the podcast, is it might not necessarily be Matt Reeves' current Batman, but Matt Reeves might help because he clearly has a huge love for the Bat franchise and Batman and all that. It's just like, it doesn't mean that James Gunn isn't going to lean on Matt Reeves for them working together to come up with who his Batman is and the direction of it. So
he might get him involved to help write the script, but allow another director who's going to fit his universe more tonally to direct it.
yeah,
Like,
so
there's options.
Matt Reeves might still have his kind of like be there at the table, but it might not necessarily be his Batman that we've already seen.
What I will say, while I love Matt Reeves' Batman, and I'll happily watch a trilogy in that style, if they do decide to make that Batman the DCEU's Batman, I don't want the entire DCEU done in that style because that'll feel dull.
Yeah, no, I
For a
don't.
lot of characters, that style would feel horrific. I never want to see a Superman film done in that style.
Well,
That
no,
would be
yeah,
the
it
worst
doesn't.
thing ever.
And to be honest, I also don't think Matt Reeves ever would. I feel
No,
he's done that style because that is the Batman. Like it
exactly.
spoke Batman through and through, and it's like, again, yeah, I think had he done a Batman knowing that it was going to be a Batman part of something bigger, Matt Reeves
He
probably
might
would
have
have done
done
it
it
in.
a bit differently.
Yeah, he would have probably done it completely differently. But he's like that film was always meant to be a standalone.
Yeah.
potentially a trilogy on its own.
I'd happily see that Batman film linked up with Joaquin Phoenix's Joker, which obviously isn't going to happen because they've got Barry Keogh.
You never know. Maybe the second Batman's a musical as well.
But like, yeah, let that Batman be its own thing. And don't get me wrong, some other superheroes could work in that style.
Yeah.
So if they work in that style, fine, have them over there. But I just think the main universe is better off being done completely fresh.
I agree.
Which brings us on to the next thing. Henry Cavill isn't Superman anymore again.
Sad news, unfortunately.
I have some very, very, very strong fucking thoughts about this.
Ooh, that's spicy.
Okay. So, back in October.
Buckle in. Yes.
Henry Cavill came back as Superman. He was in Black Adam, and then he did a nice big announcement post of basically, "Hey bitches, I'm back. I'm Superman again. What? Let's fuck some shit up and have a great time."
Mm-hmm.
Then about 2 weeks after that, James Gunn and what's his face got their job.
Yeah.
Now, I vaguely remember us discussing, well, we can only assume that they talked to them about wanting Henry Cavill back, and that's why Henry Cavill's back.
Yeah.
Clearly, they fucking didn't. What are you doing, Warner Brothers? It's not like they randomly on a Tuesday hired James Gunn and this guy out of nowhere. That's not a process that happens in any less than 6 months.
Yeah.
So they knew they were getting towards this point when they said to Henry Cavill, "Yeah, go and announce it, broski."
Do you know what I think Warner Brothers did here? They had him come back for Black Adam because
butts in seats.
Well, butts in seats, and also that was obviously, I would imagine, The Rock and the director and writer, or whatever, probably were like, "Oh, this would be a really cool way to like do a post-credit scene. Maybe we have Superman appear, and he like sets us up for a second film if we can get greenlit for a second film." They pitched the idea. Warner Brothers like, "You know what? Yeah, this will probably help sell some things on this film that we're not so sure about." So they go to Henry Cavill. We've got like, here's your chance to get back into the suit. It's just a small like cameo, and maybe this will lead to more. Film comes out. It's done well. People are like, they can see people are happy about Superman. Like they're like, "Oh shit, this is worked." People are happy to see Henry Cavill back. We'll tell Henry he can announce he's back as Superman. Helps build more hype for Black Adam, because people are then going to go, "Wait, he's in Black Adam? Let's go watch Black Adam then." And get excited for DC. Not ever going and asking James Gunn, like, should we wait to say
what
this?
What are your preliminary plans?
Just presuming that James Gunn will just have him.
But remember, James Gunn said in his tweets, which we'll get onto in a minute, that he's been working on his Superman script for a while.
Yeah.
Which means if they would have asked him, he would have been able to tell them, "Hey, I'm going for a young Superman. Henry Cavill doesn't fit that bill, just so you know."
Yeah.
So either he's lied to them somewhere along the way, which I don't think he'd do, because why would he bother doing that? He's been given creative control. Why would he feel the need to lie?
Yeah, I don't. Do you know what I think?
Or Warner Brothers executives haven't fucking listened to him when they were getting ready to bring him on board, or bother to actually talk to him and interview him properly in like ways meaningfully, and now they've just left an actor completely screwed. We know Henry Cavill wasn't particularly happy on the set of The Witcher anyway.
No.
But as an actor, it's much easier to leave a paying job like I'm sure The Witcher was paying very well when you know you're going back to do Superman shit. But now that Superman shit is gone. Don't get me wrong, I doubt Henry Cavill's going to be on the fucking breadline anytime now. But do we think he necessarily quits The Witcher if he isn't going back to be Superman? Maybe not.
I don't know. I do still think there's a world like he would have always quit The Witcher.
It definitely gives Netflix more of an opportunity to work with him if he's not going back to be Superman.
Here's my thought. When they've been doing the process of bringing James Gunn on and interviewing him and talking to him and whatnot, they've probably said in those questions and talks and chats that they'll have had many of, like, "Oh, what do you vision like are the core parts of like the DCEU? And he's probably said Superman. He's probably mentioned that Superman is a core part of the DCU and has a place. And that's probably as much as he said, because he probably was writing a script, like he said, and wasn't maybe sure, and they didn't ask any details on that, like if he's writing anything yet. They probably just heard, he's going to have Superman. Cool. Superman's still a thing. Henry Cavill comes along, back in the suit, everyone's happy. Well, there we go. Superman's already sorted for. We can go to James Gunn and say, look, here's your Superman. We've got it sorted for you. It's one less thing on your plate. Because we're a good company who know how to run things.
Yeah.
Because we're Warner Brothers. And then, yeah, James Gunn's gone, I'm doing Superman, but I ain't doing that Superman. And they've gone, well, we kind of already told him he got the job. But now you're saying he hasn't got a job?
It's just such a...
I think the one good thing from it was in those tweets that James Gunn put out, and he was saying the Superman he's doing is in his younger days, but he mentioned that he has been talking with Henry Cavill and they've had good conversations and he thinks he's a great person and there's potential opportunities in the future, meaning maybe he doesn't come back as Man of Steel and Superman. Maybe now we get to see, maybe he gets an opportunity to play a different role in DC. Maybe James Gunn likes him in that and uses him in a different role. Something I also saw was that like this does now actually, if there was ever any talks with Marvel that then got put on hold because of this, like he was like, I can't go through with them.
They can turn to him and go, hey, guess what? We've only ever fucked over one actor, and that was like 14 years ago.
And yeah, and they'll also
you want to be Superman? Why don't you come be Sentry? We always get told he's just a stolen Superman anyway.
I wouldn't surprise me if his agent's gone back to like whatever discussions probably have been had with Marvel.
Well, there will have been discussions had. Let's not act like Marvel have never reached out and gone, hey, would you ever like to work with us?
So like, I think that shit's back on the table. Whether Netflix come running back and be like, so you're not on DC now, but do you want to save this Witcher thing that everyone's now very scared about? Obviously not.
Why don't we pay you twice as much as before to come do season 4? We'll write it so it finishes off the story. Our fans aren't unhappy. You get the ending to the project you've worked so hard on, and a butt-ton more money than before.
Unfortunately, that's not going to happen.
I highly doubt it. But I wouldn't be surprised if they're the kind of conversations they're having. How about we write a script that ends the story? You get to finish off this project.
Imagine they come back to him and be like, we've seen the fan reception, we want you back. And then they just sack off Liam Hemsworth.
See, I don't think they've actually officially confirmed Liam Hemsworth, though. Is that not just like a stupidly large rumour that everyone knows is basically fact?
I thought Liam Hemsworth had confirmed it.
Let's just quickly double check here.
Liam Hemsworth, The Witcher.
Oh, no, he has been confirmed.
Yeah. Because I'm pretty sure Henry Cavill's also said, like, Liam's going to do a good job, which obviously he's going to say.
Don't you just love pausing an autoplay video on a news website and it still plays and still makes loads of noise so you can't hear anything else?
Someone's made a deep fake of what Liam Hemsworth's going to look like.
Yeah, it's not great, is it?
No.
But maybe they do sack off Liam Hemsworth.
Can you imagine, though? That'd be savage.
Do you know what the sad thing is? It's savage as fuck for him. I don't think any fans would complain, though.
No fans would complain.
Makes it worse in a way.
Yeah, I think Witcher's done and dusted.
Oh my god. Liam Hemsworth's a little bit younger. Imagine he gets cast as the new younger Superman.
Just no.
That would be funny. That'd be top tier banter.
They need to get... This was like 10, 15 years ago, whenever Smallville was out. You would have just got Smallville actor. I forget what his name is. But so this is the thing. I'm so down if we get like a Smallville-esque Superman.
So this was the next thing I was going to mention. This is what confused me. He said he's focusing on a younger Superman, but it's not an origin story.
I think we might get like a Smallville where he's kind of still figuring out what the fuck.
Still living in Smallville, hasn't made the big leap yet, but is already actively being Superman.
Yeah, doing things and like starting to figure out his powers and what like in that transition period.
I could be down for it. I think that could be quite cool.
It's that or like when he first moves, right? And he's super still.
So he's already been being Superman for a little while, and now he's finally taken the leap into moving into Metropolis. Maybe. Also, can we talk about the amount of shit writers used to get away with? Metropolis and Smallville.
It's great little town.
Bro.
Right, we want Superman to grow up on a farm in like a small town, Smallville.
And then he needs to go to this big bustling city that's really like metro and urban. Oh, Metropolis.
Yeah, we can't call it New York.
Yeah, it's fucking hilarious. Anyway, but one thing that James Gunn did answer on his tweets about what was going on, he's writing the Superman script.
Yeah.
He is not going to direct it. They're going to find another director.
Mm-hmm.
People asked about Ben Affleck being the director for it, and he said he doesn't think he's right for this, but he's very keen to work with him on something else. I don't think that was something else in that he already has something in mind. He's like, I'd like to work with Ben. We've just got to find the right thing.
Yeah, I think he's got. We've talked about that. Like, we don't expect James Gunn to do every film like Kevin did at the beginning, because that's not James Gunn's style, and his style doesn't fit with every film. So I'm glad that he said like a Superman film, he's giving that into someone else's hands. I think that's the right move. I think the idea of how he wants to do something with Ben Affleck is like is putting together a list of directors that he knows would be good at superhero films. He just has, when he's got the right film, he'll like bring them on, sort of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm interested to see. He also like mentioned that like the slate they have, he's very excited for.
Yeah. And he, you know what James Gunn's like? He loves a bit of Twitter. He'll drip feed people stuff when there's a slow news week. That is one thing. That is the one outstandingly good thing I'll say about him being now in creative control. If there's ever a slow news week, he will just say something to cause conversation.
Yeah, where Kevin
as podcasters, that's something we like to hear.
Kevin lets it happen internally with leaks.
Yeah,
James Gunn is the leak.
James Gunn will get bored on a random Tuesday at 11 a.m. and just go, "Ayo, by the way, we've cast Wonder Woman. The film's coming out this date."
Yeah, but like, by the way, no one seems to want to leak this, so I'll do it myself.
I've sent extensive documents to 4 news outlets and no one is printing it.
Yeah, no one believes it's me.
I don't know how Kevin does this so effectively.
I think the bigger thing... Oh, well, we'll get a good indication once we know Flash and Aquaman of where... That's the next thing, right? Of where they stand in this new slate. And I think until we get a bit closer...
They don't.
Well, yeah, I don't think they do either, but... all we need is him to go, oh yeah, by the way, Lobo's on the slate. Everyone's gonna be like, okay, so we know what's going on there.
I would once again like to throw my hat in the ring though. If you are moving on from Ezra Miller and you need a new Flash, let me know. I'll start running right fucking now. I'll get in shape. I'll be Barry Allen. I'll be Wally West. I'll be whoever the fuck you want me to be. I'll be Jay Garrick. Let me be the Flash. Gotta go fast, bitch. Do a Jesse Pinkman interpretation of the Flash. Gotta go fast, bitch. But that is it from the Nerd News Network. It was a crazy week, especially the last kind of 48 hours. I'm sure there'll be stuff we've already missed that's come out in the last probably 5 seconds, because that's the way it is on Thursdays. But we're in too deep now to change recording night to make it easier.
Yeah, no,
it would throw everything off.
It really would.
So we just get to moan every week about how news came out after we finished recording.